Hi, this is Jasmine, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time and voting for the Snow Globe Lighting Challenge this past week. And I hope you trained your eye to kind of see, how composition and lighting really help tell a story, and in the process, help us choose the winner. So let's go through, and I am going to share with you who you chose in this. So, without further ado, there was one clear winner and then two runners up. So, can you guess which one it is? I know, super hard. There's so many great submissions here. And once we announce, I will quickly go over, the winner and touch upon key things that I think why you chose them to be the winner and why I think you're totally on point. So, with that, dun dun dun, that is my drum. The winner is woohoo, Julia. Awesome job, amazing. The clear winner here, the community spoke and they chose yours. And I'm not surprised because one, I personally love this frame as well. And my big thing is it just tells me a story. Like what I love about looking at frames and especially how someone chooses to light it, I can kind of feel the story behind it. And I'm like super curious. I think that's the thing too with that curiosity. Is like, wait, what is going on? I wonder, who is this present for? And I think there's a couple key things that make this frame so successful. The biggest, for me, the go-to is where's my eye going? Where are you directing my eye? And clearly my eye goes straight to the screen left side here with the street light composed directly above this little guy here holding the present, and I see him. I'm looking at him. First I do look at the light and then I look down at him, but it's this nice kind of shape that it forms down and kind of falls out to the bottom, almost like a cone. Super nice, and it's like you get that subtle vignetting that's going on. And when I say vignettes, it kind of gets darker at the edges, which really helps draw my eye in. And the other part about this shot that I love is the depth. Like there's just so much shaping, even in the darks, right? And especially when I look at the snow, and this is so tricky, especially lighting something at night and not getting that kind of dirty gray shadow color. And here we're getting some really nice like blues in the shadows of the snow, which is so important. And, even in the far background where it does go into darkness a little bit, it doesn't go full black. And I think that's a key thing when you're lighting, especially when you're beginning, you kind of, you want to like make it pure black almost where it goes into shadow. But really, one of the key things of the trick about lighting is lighting for the darks too and finding that shaping in the dark areas. And you really achieved it here. That feeling of depth, the depth of field, the blur in the back really helps bring it out too. Because while that helps me to kind of like focus my eye to the in focus area, but still creating that depth, that feeling like back there, that lamp behind in the far background is actually like one of my favorite parts about this frame because it's there and it is a bright spot, but it's still like subdued and because of it's blurred because of the depth of field, it's receding back, so it's not distracting me, but it's adding that whole environment. And also I'll say the composition. I love the composition. It's like that thirds, the framing of the thirds, where I feel like when we start, often we want to just put our subject in the center of the frame, like boom, there it is. But really interesting composition plays with that and not necessarily in the center. And here, I think, the framing of it, the composition is really interesting. And overall, amazing job. And I'm not surprised that you got voted as the winner. And one, congratulations for being the winner of this Snow Globe Challenge. Let's move on to, I'll just touch on the runners up. There are two runners up. This one was one of them. And again, no surprise. I love this one as soon as I saw it. so whimsical. It's just like I wanted to go into the snow globe. I felt like if I went in, there's gonna be, these animated characters, this little world, parallel universe in there, and I'm so curious about it. Again, this was a great use of depth of field because it's kind of like really zooming into that small amount of focus in there, and the glass is really well done because that's no easy feat, right? To get that glass kind of that dome feeling like it is encased in glass, and the shaping too with the rims. The one thing that I'll say as an opportunity to make this even better is this flare. This flare on the bottom screen left side, I gotta say, it did bother me just because I felt like everything feels so nice and natural in this, and this flare at the bottom made it almost felt to me like an afterthought. It's like, "Ooh, let me put on this filter here," and I feel like, I mean, I'm guilty of that. That happens so much, but the idea of putting something in there, then like stepping back, maybe editing a little bit, I think this would have could have the opportunity of just being more subtle, or softer, more almost of like this flare that you got going on here, maybe a little bit larger and more like softer, but I think that by even just removing it would also tighten this shot even more. So overall, really nice job. Now the next runner up is this one right here. And I personally love this one. I'm so curious. I want to see this like as a fully animated short story. Like, what is this star? What's the meaning of it? Does it have like superpowers? I have so many questions. And the way that these little guys are looking at it, I'm just, yeah, like you have me in this one frame to like tell me what the story is. I want to invest in it. I want to see it in action. And there's so many great elements to this. While, of course I look straight at this star that's like so bright and, magical. But then I will say I'm really intrigued by how these little guys are looking at it, how the light is hitting this house area here. It's really nice shaping. And this whole like the warmth and the cool is also playing a great role here. And this is an example too where this dark area here, it gets pretty dark, but it's not, I'm still seeing shaping here, like right here, super nice, subtle shaping, and as it recedes in the back, it's giving me that depth, that overall feel of like reality in this shot that makes me want is I feel like I'm in it. Overall, amazing job. I really like this one. And like I said, our community has a great eye. There's a reason why they chose this as the runner up. And of course, we have many other great submissions. A submission from Karen. Also, super curious what the story is here. I'm really liking it. And I will say, this was actually my son's favorite. Showed him earlier, and he's like, I love cars. I want to know what's going on with the cars. And it's all about like, what is the story, right? Again, amazing job. And thank you. Thank you to the community for helping us choose the lighting challenge winner this round. And I hope it helped you train your eye as well and continue to train your eye. Look around. It doesn't even have to be, CG shots. It could be anything. It could be that painting. It could be a photograph. But